Hello, DBSB here, and I suppose it's January 2020, so I should do my review thing of the year. I've already filmed this video once, but it was just too blah blah bleeding blah. So I'm going to start off with a bit of a list, just in no particular order, a list of 2019. A hand-poked tattoo on my knee, a ride in a sidecar while on holiday in Madeira, gigs in Brighton, London, Zurich, wrestling La Pequeña M, wrestling lessons, starting a fanzine, releasing lots of stuff on Bandcamp, clowning at Glastonbury, wind at Boomtown, and all hail the radish. So I don't usually do things like this in my review of the year, but I've lost a couple of sort of like quite important people to me in the last year, and I just want to do a little moment for them really. The first one was Joss, who ran the area that I work in Glastonbury, and ran areas in Boomtown and lots of other festivals, and got me into working at festivals. She was kind of like a village elder to me, and I think saw me growing up in a way that a lot of other people perhaps hadn't seen me grow up. And you know, she encouraged the Las Vegas Mermaids to happen, and yeah, through her lots of things happen. And then at the end of 2019, my good friend Simon Morris died, and he was a big influence on me getting into doing music. He was in the band The Ceramic Hobbs, and I also collaborated with him in Ceramic Nose. We got to play in Germany and did some gigs in Worthing and Brighton and Blackpool, and yeah, he was such a great guy, and you know, hopefully his influence is going to keep spreading. So yeah, if you've had lost any friends in the last year, have a moment to think about them and just keep their legacy alive by doing their thing that they brought to you. Okay, so goals of 2019. I've got them written down here. And I kind of broke them into some sort of categories. So I guess I'll go. The first one was to make a more creative video, and well, I have done that with a video which isn't public yet. I've made a video where a sort of like kind of a spooky video. At the moment I've done, there's two versions. There's a colour version which I've done a soundtrack to, and there's a black and white version which my friend has done or is doing a soundtrack to, and so they'll be public once I get the soundtrack off him and put it onto the video. So yes, done that one, which is good. And it's on. Action. Then I had Park Run, and one of my goals was to run it in the 26-minute region. Well, actually, I managed to run it in 25 minutes and 25 seconds or something like that, which is a great surprise. And I have run it several times in 26 minutes. So that's that one done. Volunteered. I was going to try and volunteer 3 times. I only volunteered twice. So yeah, not quite. And there was to do a video with my video sunglasses on, which I did do down at the seafront, and it amazed me how much I look up at the sky. So I might try and do another one sometime and try and make sure I'm looking down a bit more, so that there's more than just the sky bouncing about. And the next section is music. Was to release my collaboration album. Done. There was also to try and get my micrograiny fixed, which didn't work. I've been sending emails between the people who make it, and I don't know enough technically, really. I've got friends who've got one of these, so I'm going to sit down with them and see if we can sort it out between them, but I didn't sort that out, so that's a and then I did another one where I said I'd do put on 3 gigs, and I really failed at that one. I didn't even attempt it. I really don't enjoy putting on gigs. I like playing at gigs, but I just hate putting them on and organising them. I find it really stressful. So that one is also a big fail. And then I had life, and one of the things was to archive the Las Vegas Mermaids posters and things like that, which I've kind of half done and sort of got out of the I just stopped doing it, so I've got to carry on with that. And there was to get my photos in photo albums. No, not done that. And there's to tidy up the boxes, which are just over here. There's less boxes now, so that's a good thing, isn't it? But they're not. I've not got rid of them. Yeah. No, not really. I didn't pass that. And then another one was to listen to all my records. And if you've been watching my YouTube videos, you may have noticed me listening to all my records. And yes, I have finally listened to all my records. And I've got a poly box of records which I'm going to sell or charity shop, depending. I've got to go through them and have a look at how much. Some of them are vaguely valuable. Others are. The goals, my visions for 2020, and yes, I've got quite a few this year, and I keep adding more. That's why I should get these done earlier in the month, then I stop adding bits onto them. Anyway, let's get on with the goals for 2020. So I have a kind of long-term goal. In 2 years I'll be 50, and I have started doing wrestling lessons, and I'm aiming to do to take physically a physical part in a wrestling show before my 50th birthday. Hopefully as a wrestler, but you know, if that doesn't work out, I'm sure there's other capacities I can, you know, I could referee, I could manage, commentator, well, there's all sorts of areas, but I'd quite like to wrestle, and I'm aiming to do at least 2 lessons a month of wrestling. It's a 2-hour train journey away, which ups the price and stuff like that, but that's my goal, to do 2 wrestling lessons a month, and work towards my goal of being involved in a wrestling show. It's quite exciting, isn't it? Now, parkrun, I have 2 kind of goals for that. One is to do a 10k run this year. I've got my eye on a couple, so yeah, to do a 10k run, and to run Bevendine once a month. The Bevendine park run is supposed to be in the top 6 of the most difficult park runs, because it's quite hilly. I quite like it, it's got a good view. I'll try and do a glasses view on there when the weather's a bit better, and you'll see how lovely it is. I did try and do a glasses view up there, but I didn't turn the camera on, so I just wore uncomfortable sunglasses for running around in a field, which is a bit annoying. Yeah, so that's the ones for parkrun. So I have a couple for music. One of them is to use this album to make a couple of tracks inspired by the songs on there. I know very little about this album. I'm not sure whether it's Chinese or Japanese or Korean maybe. But yeah, I'm going to try and use it as samples and inspiration for several tracks. Shall we say 3 tracks? Yeah, let's say 3 tracks inspired by the tracks on this album. And this is, I've got to this year, no more synths, or not buying any more synths or music equipment. I've got more than enough. In fact, I'm going to try and sell a couple of bits that I don't use very often. So that would be good to sort that out. And then I got this R16 audio recorder, and I can record a whole track on this without using the computer. So my plan is to use this more. I've recently started doing a few bits and pieces all on this rather than putting them on the computer. That's going to be good. So to get more of a grip on how to use the R16 mixing studio recorder interface thingy. I don't quite know what you call it. Okay, and now I guess these are the life things. Number 1, I have to sort out the boxes over there, or else M is going to kill me in my sleep. And she's all right. She's a very patient lady, but you know, I may be testing that patience a little bit too much, so got to sort that out. So I've also got a poly box and a half of records from my collection that I've had to listen to, and yeah, I can do without them. So it's to get rid of them, whether it's sell or charity shop them. And also to remember to use a diary. Last year I bought a diary as for the house, so we'd remember to note stuff down, but we didn't note stuff down. So this year it's to actually put stuff in the diary and note it down. Let's see if that works. Hopefully it will, now that I've said it out loud. We will get done. The final one is to give up eating double deckers. They are my favourite sweet, and quite often I might walk home from work and I might go and get a double decker. No more double deckers. If you want a snack while you walk home, go get a banana, go get an apple, an orange, something, not a double decker. The crunchy and chewy charms are not for me anymore. So I think that is enough goals for this year, and let's see how well I do with them. Let me know if you've had any goals for this year, and I hope you have a happy new year type thing.